city of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Coach Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. 9 guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle, soars in the sky. Coach Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle, soars in the sky. Coach Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
Yeah. You guys know the vibes. You guys know the energy. You guys are tuned into your Philadelphia Eagles pregame show. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShills II, and I'm joined by none other than one of my good friends in this business here, one of the best doing it, Coach Markus of Pro Fan Talk. Now, you guys know what your job is. Very simple. All you got to do is kick your feet up. Make sure you got your game day breakfast, your game day lunch already, percolating in the kitchen. Maybe you got wifey whipping you something up. Maybe you got hubby hooking you up right now. Whatever it is, make sure you kick your feet up. You got your beverages. You got your snacks. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, make sure you smash that like button. Very simple. Yes, sir. Very simple. Markus, it's simpler than what they make it, right? That like button is currency in this YouTube space, and your channel is growing exponentially, and without the people, this train can't keep going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Like we say every week, don't make it complicated. You know what to do. Smash that like. I know some of you rolling around with a computer, a laptop, and an iPad. You know what? Get them extra streams going on them other devices.
I like that.
And let it go. And you know what? I said this before when I was talking to KSAP the other day. So let me put everybody on game. When you got your show running on other devices, you're not paying attention to it. So what you tend to do is you let the ads roll all the way through. We benefit from that. Mm-hmm. So just something, throw it out there. Just put it out there, let it be. It ain't going nowhere. And we'll take them extra views. It's all good, man. We trying to grow together, man.
Absolutely, you guys. So again, smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Pro Fan Talk. That's Pro Fan Talk, one of the best doing it right now, giving you film breakdown, giving you all the analysis and the passion you need on your Philadelphia Eagles. And on top of that, he's going to be giving you tremendous breakdowns and tremendous analysis of the WNBA when that season starts. I believe the WNBA just had their expansion draft. And they just introduced 2 new franchises. So you guys want to make sure you're on the right side of history. Maybe you have a chance to pick a new favorite team and get ahead of the curve. So just make sure you guys lock in on that. Shout out to my man, Coach Markus from Pro Fan Talk. And again, make sure you guys also are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. You guys are getting passion. You're getting analysis. You're getting emotion. You're getting electricity. Yes, listen, I'm not the biggest X and O's guy. I rely on my man Markus for that. That's the guy that played the game. I lean on the smart people. For me, I'm just someone who's dedicated to what they're doing. I try to do as much research as possible. I lean on the smart people. And hopefully you guys look at me as somebody that you can rely on as well. Now, let's not waste any more time here, man. It's week 14. Your Philadelphia Eagles are facing off with the Carolina Panthers. Now, this matchup is interesting because it would seem from a bird's eye view that it would be the easiest matchup of the year, just based off how the Carolina Panthers have been playing. They are 3-9 on the season, 1-4 on the road. The Philadelphia Eagles, they are on the opposite side of that spectrum, 10-2 on the season, 4-1 at home. So a lot of the odds makers pretty much have this game pretty much as a lock. ESPN even has their matchup predictor as the Philadelphia Eagles having an 85% or 85.1% chance of winning this game. So seems like all the Philadelphia Eagles have to do is show up, right, Markus? Or am I tripping?
You tripping. And I'm saying that strictly as a player.
Of course. And I gotta sell it to the people who gotta sell it.
Every week you gotta take care of business, man. You don't and it's amazing. It's cliche, but it's amazing how many people don't do it. You got to show up every week. Every team is good. Every team can be beaten at any given time. You saw what happened to Detroit. They got lucky. You know what I mean? So you got to be ready to play, ready to handle your business, and ready to get out there and dominate every chance you get. Period. If you got to get a 24-point lead or beat somebody by 3 and 4 scores, that's what you need to do. That was a criticism of the Eagles early on. We were winning games, but it's like, we should have dominated. We should have played better. Like Jalen Hurts says, it was a lot of work to do in a lot of those games. And the further we've gotten along in the season, at the end of these games, the extra work that we need to do seems to be getting smaller, which means they're taking care of everything they need to take care of on the field. They're not letting opportunities pass them by. And that's the biggest thing. Number one, staying healthy. Number two, take those opportunities when you get them. We can't have drop picks. We can't have that because it always, Murphy's Law says, if you drop a pick, that team's going to score on that possession. You know what I mean? So you got to take care of that. And the margin for error, the closer you get to the playoffs, gets smaller and smaller. So handle your business. We don't need to change up anything. We just need to keep doing what we've been doing, and we should be okay.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Just getting to the injury report. Obviously, Dallas Goedert, he's been added to injured reserve with the knee injury. This is his second time on injured reserve, is it not? Or did he just miss a few games early in the season and they didn't feel the need to bring him on reserve? I can't remember.
I think this is the first time. I think the first time I think he only missed 3 games.
Okay, all right.
Injured reserve is 4, right?
Yeah. So essentially, Dallas Goedert will have another season where he's missing a minimum of 7 games.
Yeah.
This may be the 3rd season in a row where he's only played 10 to 12 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So the Philadelphia Eagles are going to eventually have to rectify that going forward in the draft, but that's another topic for another day. But Britton Covey is also out with a neck injury. Can't play around with that. Sidney Brown's out with a knee injury as well. Reed Blankenship is also out with a concussion sustained in last week's game. The Eagles are also going to be without Ben Van Sumeren, who's been placed on IR with the knee injury, which is unfortunate, hence why they went and signed their fullback. And Brandon Graham obviously is on injured reserve. Bryce Huff is on injured reserve. Byron Young, injured reserve. Bradbury, LaRaven Clark, injured reserve. So a lot of that we already knew. But, Smitty makes his return. We haven't seen Smitty in a couple weeks, and the Philadelphia Eagles have still been able to play pretty well and control their destiny for the most part without Devontae Smith. But just getting into this matchup here before we get into the personnel stuff, when you look at the Carolina Panthers, despite the struggles that they have experienced, it seems like this team is playing a lot harder at this leg in the season. What's your thoughts on how they've performed and what you've seen and heard about them lately?
They're looking a lot better. Obviously, most people are concentrating on Bryce Young. And I think Bryce Young has finally kind of turned the corner after he was, beat up, very similar to what Justin Fields was going through. And I say this all the time, man, coaching matters. And getting the right coach with the right player on the right team at the right time, all those things have to align. And it's not always pretty. But he's taking his lumps, and it looks like he sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Because they have been playing a lot better the last 3-4 weeks, and you've seen some improvement. So it's like when y'all so quick to throw him out with the bathwater, because he's not. Once again, we in this conversation, he's not the stereotypical quarterback that checks all the boxes with the cannon arm and the 6'5" and all of that kind of stuff. But he was a situation very similar to Jalen Hurts, very similar to Lamar Jackson and others, that when he had his opportunity, he stepped in and win. Now, at the pro level, he's had a little bit more difficulty. So, but that's to be expected. But it seems like the optics are, it looks like he's turned the corner, or at least getting better. So whatever they're doing, it seems to be working. He seems to be a lot more comfortable, playing a lot more free. and it's paying dividends. However, I don't think he's ready for these Philadelphia Eagles and that defense we about to launch on. I don't think he's ready for that. I think Vic Fangio, once again, will have these boys ready to play. And I think our defensive line is going to eat. Jalen Carter, I'm looking for him to have himself a day. I'm looking for Nolan Smith once again to have himself a day. Also, Milt Williams is going to sneak in there today. So, again, this is going to be a defensive game. Defense wins championships. If they can't score, they can't win.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. And I'm looking at their previous 4 games. They managed to beat the New Orleans Saints 23-22 in Week 9. They beat the New York Giants 20-17 in overtime, Week 10. Then they had a Week 11 bye week, and then they came out of their bye week with 2 back-to-back losses to, I would say, superior opponents. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost. They took them to the brink.
To the wire. Yeah.
Took them to the wire, which is pretty impressive. But I'm one that doesn't believe the Kansas City Chiefs have been playing up to their standard throughout the entirety of the season. I know Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but I think they're on borrowed time a little bit. But nonetheless, that's a different conversation. And then they played Tampa Bay in Week 13, losing to them 26-23 in overtime. So all of their games have been won and lost by a margin of 3 points or less. They've been playing really hard these past few weeks. But again, I don't think they faced a defense like the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe since Week 2 when you think about the Chargers and how their defense is playing. So you're right. Although Bryce Young and his team seems like they've been galvanized a little bit, seems like they're playing with a little bit more pride, this is just a different animal. And then this is one of those quintessential games where, it's levels to this thing.
Yeah. I think, like I said in the beginning, man, all the Eagles got to do is come out and just take care of business. They have no business beating us at home. No business. This should be a game where we should dominate and win by 2, possibly 3 scores. There's no reason why we can't. There's no reason why Saquon can't do what he needs to do. There's no reason why Jalen Hurts can't do what he needs to do, or AJ or Devontae. I would expect that they would be looking to get Devontae the ball a little bit since he's been out. They got to establish him so they can take the pressure off of AJ Brown. Right. Then he can take one of them 5-yard slants, 55 yards for a touchdown. So I think he's ready to go, or Smitty's ready to go, and I think the Eagles are going to be taking care of business. Kellen Moore, just keep doing what you're doing. Yes, I still want to complain because I want the offense to go off tackle. I want Saquon to run off tackle and get some zone reads. Then you can go up the middle. Stop trying to force that issue. But we're winning, so I'm just nitpicking. So the rules. If you winning, you nitpicking. If you losing, you complaining. So
you bring up a good point. I mean, here's the thing, though, right? I think the one thing that stands out to me about this matchup is just the disparity in one team's run offense versus the opposite team's run defense, and it's rather glaring, right? Just piggybacking off of your Saquon Barkley, Kellen Moore angle, right? It seems like this is going to be that kind of game where the Philadelphia Eagles can really lean heavily on their running game. They don't have to really overcook this matchup whatsoever. And if we're just looking at some of these numbers here for them defensively, right? Opponent points per game, ranked 32nd in the league. They're giving up the most points in the league. They're giving up the second most yards in the league with 392 yards a game. They're giving up almost 6 yards per play. That's 28th in the league. They're giving up over 46% of the third down conversions to the offense. That's the last in the league. They had the worst third down defense in the NFL. They had the 25th ranked red zone defense in the NFL. You can convert on this team. You can score on this team. This team defensively has not been good situationally. That's what these numbers are saying to me. And then if we dig deeper to the running side of things, right, the rushing statistics for the Carolina defense, and this is where Saquon Barkley, even can game one, Will Shipley and Jalen Hurts come in, right? Their opponent rush play percentage is 50.92%. That's 32nd in the league. That tells me that teams have been able to lean on them so well that they hardly have to pass the ball. They hardly have to empty the gas tank. and they're giving up almost 5 yards a rush, which is 27th in the league. They're giving up 166 yards a game on the ground. That's last in the league. They have literally the worst run defense in the NFL. I'm gonna be honest, Marcus. This may be the game where Saquon actually breaks Eric Dickerson's record. that's how bad this run defense has been. When you think about all those metrics I've told you, obviously we know what makes the Philadelphia Eagles so great, and we know Saquon with the Kenny Gainwell and Jalen Hurts combination. If you want to throw Will Shipley in there, fine. But we know this running game is of the elite. I always looked at run defense as more effort than being schematic. Explain to me how one can be the worst run defense in the NFL. Is it strictly personnel? Is it strictly effort? Is it a cocktail of both of those things?
It's a little bit of a cocktail, but the strongest alcohol in that drink is the personnel.
Okay.
Let me say it like that. You have to have the right personnel to be able to stop it. Our defense would not, I repeat, not look like what it looks like if Jalen Carter wasn't doing what he was doing. It would not look like it's looking if our tackles wasn't moving the line of scrimmage. If Ojomo and Milt Williams and Jordan Davis, if Jordan Davis was still playing like his rookie year, it would not look like it's looking. If Nolan Smith didn't come into his own this year, it would not look like it's looking. So you got to have the right personnel. You find out very quickly the difference in good and great players in the NFL. Because if you're in the NFL, you are a good player. But the good player is the floor. You got to be great and elite. Jalen Carter is elite. You know what I'm saying? BG was elite. Fletch was elite. And we've been good at replacing those players. I was one of the ones who thought that we're going to struggle without Hassan Reddick because Hassan Reddick was elite.
I agree. I'm with you on that. I definitely thought we would struggle without Hassan.
Well, now Nolan Smith is turning into a great player. So you got to elevate him above good. That means you got to pay attention to him. Zach Bond is playing at an elite level. I need to see a little bit more from him before I will call him an elite player. He's a good player, transitioning to a great player, but he's playing at an elite level because he's having a Pro Bowl year without question.
Okay, so a good player that's having an elite season.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just like you can have a good player that had a great year, then they come back to earth the next. But we haven't been there yet. All I know is he was a special teamer. He got here, and Vic Fangio started whispering in his ear, and for whatever reason, things started aligning. So what that tells me is we got a coach who is using his players in the right way. We have players who are understanding what the coach is trying to teach them, and they're understanding and they're implementing it at a very high level. That's what you need. Now, sometimes you have guys that'll pop in that doesn't matter where they go, doesn't matter who the coach is. They are just that dude. Aaron Donald was that dude. Reggie White was that dude. Don't matter who was calling the plays. You know that dude was going to show up. So, and right now that looks like Zach Bond.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Nolan Smith is getting there. Hell, we even had a Jalix Hunt sighting last week. You know what I mean? So all of those things are coming together. And it's I never thought I would say this, but here in Philadelphia, because I don't think it worked this way when he was in Miami, Vic Fangio is having an effect on our defense. Not as much, but very similar to how Jeff Stoutland is having on our offensive line.
Expand on that, because that's a pretty lofty perspective. And I'm not saying you're wrong here, but it's interesting because Jeff Stoutland, it just seems like everything he touches turns to gold. Now, Vic Fangio is that pretty much what you're saying? And look, I know he's one of the elite minds defensively, but and the proof is in the pudding with what we're seeing with this Eagles defense. But that's a pretty lofty take. Jeff Stoutland is damn near Hall of Fame if offensive lineman coaches can go.
To me, Jeff Stoutland is that teacher in high school everybody liked. Everybody wanted to take their class because that teacher could reach, touch, for whatever reason. That teacher had the recipe that everybody they dealt with seemed to understand, and they seemed to get it when they took that class with that teacher. That's what Stoutland is with our offensive line. How many offensive linemen have we brought in here that Jeff Stoutland didn't turn around and then make them at least a quality offensive lineman? Just take this year. You look at what happened with Juergens. You look at what happened with Mekhi Becton. With Mekhi Becton, man, his situation in Philadelphia, I'm sorry, with the Jets. And then you what's the backup? Fred Johnson.
Yes, with the
He's
Bengals,
another one. For whatever reason, Stoutland has the recipe, right? Vic Fangio sounds to me like he's the same. He's in that same area code, because it wasn't popping off like this down in Miami, even though he got Miami to a top 10 defense.
Now stop there real quick, because that's what kind of blows my mind about what went wrong in Miami. And look, I understand he didn't really want to go to Miami. That wasn't his first choice. The original choice was to come to Philly, but things got wonky with Jonathan Gannon and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But, you know, when you heard those players saying what they were saying about him, and then you compare that to what the Eagles players are saying about him and how they responded to his coaching, there's a clear disconnect between those organizations as it relates to buying in. Right. And also Vic Fangio, he can be prickly, right? We know his personality.
Right.
That personality didn't seem to fit that soft life Miami culture.
There you go. That's the word. I was about to say it. The culture. The culture. You down in Miami in the sunshine and the pretty girls and the bikinis and all of that kind of stuff, your mindset changes. You up here in Philly, you in the land of cheesesteaks and John's. And yeah, you got the edge. We are a lunch pail city. We go to work every day. We put it in. We grind. We can get grimy if we have to. You know what I mean? They don't have that. And that is a clear culture. It takes a very astute mind, attitude, and demand to be able to initiate that type of culture. As an example, Andy Reid can do that in Kansas City, in the smack dab middle of the Midwest, because of his time in Philly. Andy Reid came from Green Bay. Everybody nice in Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? So, but he got enough of Philly. He took the stuff that he needed to take. He got a little bit of that Philly attitude, so he knows how to deal with it. And not for nothing, Andy Reid is somebody that knows how to get the best out of people. Yeah. And we get that same result here. People can talk all of that smack and we bitch, moan, and complain about Sirianni and all of that kind of stuff. All I know is them dudes in that locker room is running through a wall for him. Stop. You ain't got to go no further. You ain't got to go no further. I don't want to hear no rumors. I don't want to hear nothing from sources about what he might have going on and disagreements and all. Nah. Everybody have disagreements. That's in every locker room, whether you are a winning team or a losing team. There are arguments and disagreements in every family, period. We ain't no different, but we just tend to blow stuff out of proportion a lot quicker. But at the end of the day, you can't tell me any coach in the league would love to have Nick Sirianni's record. About to be 4 straight years in the playoffs.
That's a good point. I mean,
you talk about a man with he's had coaching experience, but it was very little.
Okay.
Right? And I'm bringing this up because there was a lot of conversation about Eric Bieniemy this week.
Yeah.
But let me finish on Nick.
Please.
Don't forget, Nick was what we had left. We got to the store after the sale and we had to take whatever was left on the shelves. That was Nick Sirianni. Doug Peterson, that whole situation happened late in the hiring process. So all of the top candidates that we would have probably interviewed were already gone. So we got the bottom of the barrel. We took what was left. They did the best they could do, and they made the best choice they could. And it just turns out that this dude just happens to be some type of crazy dude talking about flowers and come off wrong. And the only thing he does is galvanize a team to get to the playoffs.
That's the word, galvanize. Like there's something You remember when Saquon talked about Hurts and in
Yep.
his interview, he said, "This I was talking about family, and it's just you don't really understand it. Like it's just an it factor. He just has it. You can't put a number on it. You can't measure it. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but you just can't explain it, right?
Mhm.
That kind of reminds me of Nick Sirianni a little bit, like
Yes.
and I think that's why Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts tend to be the most misunderstood or maybe get the least respect in this league amongst sports pundits, people who talk about this game, because they look at these guys and there's nothing that they do tangibly that's overly impressive, right? Like and this is not me trying to slight either of those guys, but it just seems like they're blue collar lunch pail guys who's had to work really hard to get where they are. I had a conversation with my man Eastwood and Mike Sports Vibes. We was talking about the Sixers yesterday, and we were comparing Maxey and Jared McCain. And Tyrese Maxey, he came into the league with a lot of athletic gifts, but he was still raw in certain aspects, but very athletic and was able to get to the rim and is a max player right now. Jared McCain, on the other hand, comes into the league not the most athletic at all, but his skill set, he's more polished, more refined, so on and so forth. So my point is, you have guys who come into these situations with notoriety, that they're known for a certain thing, like the McVays and the LaFleurs in the world. They're brainchilds. They're just really polished in certain aspects. They know exactly what to say, when to say it, and that's not Nick Sirianni. He's not the most polished. He's not the most refined. He's not the sharpest tool in the tool shed. No disrespect. And then you got Jalen Hurts, really cerebral player, doesn't have the biggest arm, not the fastest, but they just win football games. They know what to say. They know what buttons to push and when to push them. Speak on just how hard it is to evaluate guys. And again, obviously we evaluate this league in wins and losses, but outside of that, just speak on how hard it is to evaluate guys like that, again, you can't really put your finger on their success, but they're successful.
Here's the thing. It's not hard to evaluate them. The problem, once again, we using this culture word. The problem is that the culture that exists now, the social media culture, this new era of sports that we are in, everything is instant. Everybody just want to add water and stir. Everybody wants it to be flashy. We talked about the stereotypes. Everybody wants to check the boxes. He's none of that. But he's somebody that comes into work, does it his own way, does it a little bit differently, and it's effective for him. But everybody still wants what we're used to seeing. That's the problem.
What do you say to people when they say he's just been riding the talent in his roster for the past few years? What do you say to that? What do you say to that? Because that's the same logic for Hurts as well, which I don't agree with, by the way.
Correct. But if you heard me speak on this, I always say the same thing, and I use this analogy. If you want to have an argument who the top 5 quarterbacks are in the league, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Whoever you deem is your favorite quarterback or your top quarterback, there is nothing that I'm going to do to convince you otherwise. Because you done made up your mind, that's your opinion, roll with it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, at some point in time, it's going to be two dudes that step on the field, and you're going to find out what's what. And when it comes to Nick Sirianni, we done had 4.5 seasons of this mess that people talk about. Jawing with fans and going for it and not kicking the field goal, taking points off the board. Some of it's valid, but what people tend to forget, Sirianni is the low-hanging fruit. Because you look at all of these stereotypical coaches, you look at everybody that checks the boxes, how many Super Bowls they've been to? Not many. So we got somebody that's doing it his own way. It's proven to be effective. You got everybody in the locker room pointing in the same direction, listening, and working together. And he's the chef putting this soup together, and it's working. The problem is everybody just don't want to see it. They want to go with what's flashy. They want the Lamborghini with a V6 engine. No, that's not what you bought it for. Right. That's what they want, though. They want the flashy stuff, and it's like we ain't got the flashy. We got somebody that's grinded, and says it a little bit differently. But the people that need to understand. I'm not going to convince anybody else. You go and I've recently jumped into the Discord space. That is confusing, by the way, but I'm trying to stick with it. And yet I hear the same thing. Sirianni sucked. People every day, just like people still talk about throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. People will always bring up Nick Sirianni's opening press conference. It was horrible. It was horrible. But that has nothing to do with the man being able to know how to coach.
Exactly.
Nothing. There's plenty of coaches that give terrible, they have a terrible media presence, but they know the X's and O's, they know people, and they know how to coach. But we, in this social media climate, we can't leave it there. It's got to be something else. We can't leave it with the wins and the losses. We do. Philly does. Everybody else on the outside looking in always have something to say, and they welcome to it. All I know is my team been to the playoffs. My team been to the Super Bowl, and it looks like we got a good opportunity to go back. And there's a lot of other teams and a lot of other fan bases that wish they did.
You said a lot there, and the bottom line is this is a results-based business.
Absolutely.
You can feel however you want about anybody, and you said something really interesting, right? And I get into a lot of friendly debates with people about Jalen Hurts, about Nick Sirianni, and I always get to a point where I say, why are we really having this conversation? Because let's be honest, there's nothing I can say to you to change your mind.
Nothing.
You already feel how you feel, and I'm not in the business of just wasting my sports takes and my analysis via text message. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you already feel how you feel about said player or said coach. You've already broken down the film, and you feel like this person's being carried. And I find it hard to believe how you can get carried to a 44-19 record. That's impossible. At some point, you get figured out, right? And that hasn't been the case. And let's be honest about this. As much as people want to pull the carpet or discredit Nick Sirianni or discredit Jalen Hurts, the bottom line is this. Nick Sirianni has beaten a bevy of those head coaches that you guys claim to be better than him or smarter or whatever it may be. He's beaten Dan Campbell twice. He's beaten Sean McVay twice. He's beaten Matt LaFleur twice.
Without Saquon.
Let's be honest about this. He beat Dan Campbell twice without Saquon. He beat Sean McVay one with Saquon, one without. Matt LaFleur, same thing. I can go on and on. He's beaten Andy Reid before. They're 1-1, against each other. Obviously, Andy Reid has the most important one, but you know what I mean. He's beaten Bill Belichick. He's beaten a lot of these coaches that y'all love to laud over. But it's okay, though. It goes for Jalen Hurts as well. He's beaten Matthew Stafford twice. He's beaten Jordan Love. He's beaten Aaron Rodgers. You could say he beat Jordan Love too, because Jordan Love came in that game as well. So he beat Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love in the same night. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's beaten Patrick Mahomes before. He's beaten Josh Allen. He's beaten Lamar Jackson. Like, all I'm trying to say is, feel how you feel about the player, right? Sure, I have no problem with people having their preference, right? It's the NFL. You could have your pick of the litter. Some people like this kind of style. It's that style. It's cool. Like your style. Yeah. But if we're gonna have a good faith conversation, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about what this game is based on, and that's the results. Take your feelings and your emotion out of it. What's the results? What happened? And that's the part where people try to say, well, you guys got a super team. Really, a super team. This is the NFL. It's not easy to build those kind of things. As a matter of fact, I know we make it look easy. So you know what I say to people who throw that at me? Hey, tell your GM to do better. Tell your organization to hire better. The Philadelphia Eagles from top to bottom have been one of the most stellar organizations in terms of how they build their rosters, how they construct their contracts, culture, personnel, coaching staff, so on and so forth. I mean, people have this thing mixed up as if it's just easy to do. No, we're just committed to winning ways. Now, do we always win the big game in the end? No. But one thing I respect about this organization, the coaching staff, the personnel, quarterback, head coach, GM, owner, they're lockstep and key that they want to win football games. And
Absolutely.
that gets taken for granted because you could be the Tennessee Titans. You could be the Chargers. I don't care who the Chargers hire. I don't believe that organization is ever really serious about winning. They just care about being just above average or care about being relevant. Now, Jim Harbaugh may change that. We'll see. But there are so many organizations in this league who are satisfied with having a 500 record. Because you know why? The owner gets his check at the end of the year regardless. So we have to really think about what we're witnessing here with Nick Sirianni, with Jalen Hurts, with Howie Roseman as a GM. We have to really think about what we're witnessing here and not try to be smart asses and keep it real with ourselves, and when it comes to the results.
They don't. Everybody wants to be flashy. Everybody wants to. You know what? It's us. No one likes us. We don't care. But honestly, I think once again, the culture is Philly is the place that everybody wants to hate. Every year you get somebody gets on the news. I just heard it the other day. I think it was Jadeveon Clowney. Somebody was asking him about Philly fans and stuff like that. So he was chiming in on it. So that's always a national narrative. I remember I did a video. I think it was about a year and a half ago, man. And all I did was I had clips of fights in the stadium. And the way I narrated it, I was like, oh, look at those Philly fans. And look at oh, my bad, that's San Francisco. Well, look at these dudes right here fighting in the concourse. Oh, my bad, that's down in Dallas. So the point was everybody talks all of that shit on Philly, and most of it happens in other places. The only problem is when stuff goes down in Philly, it gets national headlines and all the negative goes through the roof. And it's us. Everybody wants to see us fail for whatever reason. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. That's why the whole hungry dogs run faster, underdogs, no one likes us. That's where all of that stuff came from.
But Marcus, sometimes I wonder if we like us. Sometimes I wonder if we like us.
Yeah, but we are us. That's the problem. There's some things that go on in your house, in your family, with your people. Somebody on the outside that comes to visit might not understand what's going on. And you got to hold on. This is my uncle, and this is what happened. And you got to explain the situation because you in it. You see it every day. Philly sees it every day. Philly don't hold no punches. If you playing like crap, we're going to tell you play like crap. Now, in that, yes, people could get overzealous and overstep their bounds, but so does everybody else in every other fan base in every other city. So we're no different. We just talk a little different. That's it. Our passion is no different. Our fans are no more or less passionate than the real fans in other places. And that's the key. In Philadelphia, there are more real fans than if you go out in SoFi. You look at what's happening in LA. Because, and then again, look at the culture again. You look at down in Miami, you look at LA as opposed to Philadelphia, New York, or even Kansas City. LA is a destination city. So you get people from all across the country there, which is why when we play at SoFi, it's so much green in the building. Dallas is kind of like that too. Dallas is a destination city. So you got a lot of transplants that move from other places to Dallas, which is why every time we play Dallas, there's a lot of green in the building. You come to Philly, it's all green. You get spatterings. You get a little Washington over here and Giants over there. But for the most part, it's Philly. All day. It's cheesesteaks and pretzels till the cows come home, bro.
Cheesesteaks, pretzels, and water ice. So you feel me?
That's what it is. And you don't have that in other places. Kansas City is a little different because Kansas City is the Midwest. Ain't nobody trying to go to the Midwest. So them people, all them fans that's piling into Arrowhead Stadium, been fans since they was 3 years old. Same way with Green Bay. So you got to look at the city and what comes with it. And in our particular case, Philadelphia is a city that we ain't afraid to scrap. We ain't afraid to get grimy. We ain't afraid to call our own players out. And you deal with what comes. I love the fact that go back last year when things was getting a little rough, and AJ Brown got on the mic and was like, "Listen, like y'all gonna stop coming for me like this."
Right.
You know what I mean? He had to set some people straight.
I actually like that too. I like that.
Absolutely. And now the criticism, some of it was over the top, but I wouldn't call it necessarily unfair. So there's a fine line that we skate, because I think in this city, again, like every place else, you got these fans that want to get a little bit extra and they take it to the next level, and it doesn't need to go there. And that's when you can put some people in their place. And I think that's what AJ Brown was doing. But the criticism, if we're not winning or if we think somebody should be running the ball more, we'll give it to them. We talked about this last week. The offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles has been good for the last 6 years. With Miles Sanders, with DeAndre Swift, we should have been dominating on the ground, and we didn't do it. Why? That's a valid criticism and a valid question, especially when you see what's happening this year. Yes, it's half of that Saquon, but the other half is that offensive line dominating the line of scrimmage. Lane Johnson, Mekhi Becton, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata. That physical presence, nobody has been able to stop yet but us. If we don't run the ball well, it's our fault.
That's what it seems like at this point, right? With the Eagles, whatever goes wrong, because of how they've been playing, it's something we didn't do. It ain't nothing they did, and that's how dominant they have been, right? I want to stay on that offensive side with the offensive line, like you said.
Well,
right?
real quick,
Yes, please
let me get this in real quick. Isn't it interesting? 2 times the Baltimore Ravens has lost. When we beat them last week, and then you go back to the playoffs last year when they lost. Both times, everybody criticized, how come you're not running Lamar Jackson? What did Lamar Jackson say after we beat him? Oh, my mama called and cussed me out because I missed some running lanes. Everybody trying to do it the way that everybody Harbaugh's trying to do it how everybody else wants to see it.
I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad you brought that up, because
looks like Sirianni finally got the message. We've been saying this for 3 years, Tone.
Yeah, we have. And you said something a while ago. Sometimes we don't like. We expect a lot of guys to come in here and just know what we expect them to know. A lot of these guys are literally learning on the job, right?
Yep.
And to your point about the Jim Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson running thing, watch they overcorrect this week. Watch they overcorrect and lean in harder to the running game. My problem with the Ravens, and I know it's a sidebar, but my problem with the Ravens is they know who they are, but they're not fully accepting who they are.
Exactly.
And that was the Eagles' problem, for a while. And watch the Ravens overcorrect this week. And then watch they slowly fall back into passing the ball again.
Yeah.
Like that's been their MO this season.
But even hold on. Let me find this in the chat because I saw it. I want to call them out. Not call them out, but I want to make a point.
Right. My bad, Jonathan Cook. The Ravens are on the bye the following week. My bad.
Yeah.
My apologies. Hey, listen. I focus on the Eagles. It's a lot of games. Relax. Anyway, Ravens on the bye the following week. Yeah. Watch it overcorrect.
I can't find it, but I think it was Big Chris in the chat where he said this week Jalen Hurts should sling it around, because basically saying that Carolina, they can't hang with us. So Jalen should sling it around. I'm like, no, keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah,
if Jalen doesn't throw the ball 20 games, I'm good. 20 times this game, I'm good.
Marcus. You know the old adage, why you fronting? Why you acting brand new in front of these people? You remember? I'm sure you were back in the day. When you were young, you know what I mean.
Your mama got you.
You and your homie. You're moving around. You know who he is. But soon as that chick come around, soon as them girls come around, he act a little different. Oh, you funny man now?
Oh, you cussing in front of your friends? Oh, that's how we do it. Okay,
exactly.
Okay.
So my point is, why we need to act different in front of different people. Why do y'all want us to be somebody else? Why do y'all want us to do something different? Because somebody else somebody else walking to the party? Because somebody else walking to our house? I'm the same man no matter where I go, no matter who I'm around. And that should be applauded, right? The Eagles don't need to reinvent the wheel. They don't need to prove anything to anybody, right? Like there's the need for Jalen Hurts to constantly prove himself every week. But even outside of the Jalen Hurts aspect of it, it's just the whole idea of the identity. Like you said, the Ravens, they have a hard time committing to their identity. They feel the need to prove something all the time. The Eagles, Nick Sirianni, I think they get it now. Why would I change who I am? Why would I try to change the brakes on my car if they ain't squeaking? It don't make sense. So sure, if Jalen Hurts happens to get some big plays and he throws for 250, 300 yards, okay, cool, right? But I'm not changing our philosophy and who I am because I'm going up against an inferior team. That just doesn't make any sense. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, the Panthers' pass defense is slightly better than their run defense. And that's not saying much. But
hey, real quick, shout out to Donnell Shipley for the $10 super chat, man.
Shout out to Donnell Shipley with the $10 super chat. He says, this is the first time I've caught this chat. You're really speaking facts. I'm from Kentucky and have been a Philly fan for my whole life and can feel the Philly vibe. Yeah, listen, man, it travels. It travels and it travels well.
What part of Kentucky you from, bro? I'm an EKU graduate, man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Eastern Kentucky. That's right. That's right.
You in my stomping ground, bro. I'm originally from Cincinnati, but I went to school and graduated from Eastern Kentucky. I'm the baddest running back to ever come out of EKU. Don't get it twisted, bro.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Shout out to Donnell Shipley, man. We appreciate that super chat. But yeah, like wow. There's an obsession. There's an obsession with trying to prove something to our football counterparts, right? People want to be able to I feel like people look at Jalen Hurts and look at the Eagles and Nick Sirianni the way they do is because they want to be able to win an argument with their friends, right? They want to be able to say, my guy's better than your guy, right? They want to be able to say, hey, my guy's smarter. My guy throws a better ball. My guy does this better. You know what I mean? And it's just like the reality is, does your guy win or does your guy lose? is your guy in the playoffs or is he regularly or is your team regularly picking top 5 in the draft?
And that's when the buts come in. But but this, but that, but whatever.
And then they get into the hypotheticals. Well, if you replace this guy, if you give this guy this roster, well, hold on, wait, time's out. Well, everyone's working with the same salary cap.
Jalen Hurts doesn't have to do anything because Saquon's doing everything. So what? That's why we got him. That's why we signed him.
And you know what they said last year, Marcus? They were saying, hey, Jalen, you don't got to be Superman all the time. You don't got to be Superman.
You remember when they went to the
this
Super
year?
Bowl?
Now it's like, hey, Jalen, we want you to do more. You're not earning it enough. This is what I'm talking about.
In 22, we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Whenever Jalen Hurts had 25 plus passing attempts, strange things would happen. So even then, I was like, keep him under 25. Anything under 25 is good. Anything above that, we're going to start having problems. And we pretty much, because we was running the RPO so well, it balanced out a lot better. Mm-hmm. Now, we had some, peaks and valleys and stuff like that, and that happens on every team. But for the most part, we are in a situation right now looking at the same thing. Anything above 25 throws, strange things happen. Let's just keep it the way we've been keeping it, man. And to the conversation you were talking about, I always have a bone to pick with Philly fans because that year everybody had the dog masks, we the underdog, hungry dogs run faster, all of that type of stuff. And then you get a big contingency of Philly fans that get butthurt when they don't get the props on national media. And it's like, you can't have it both ways. Do you revel in being the underdog, or do you want to be the pretty girl in the room that everybody likes?
Right. That's a good point.
Seems like you got people
I struggle
on
with that
both
too,
sides.
by the way. I'm with you on that. I struggle with that too. Because I guess for me, it's not that I want to be the pretty girl in the room. I just want to be respected for what I do bring to the table. right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to be most popular, but then when I walk in the room, hey, give me a pound. Hey, show me some respect. That's all. Right. And different situations call for different things. Different games call for different requires different contributions from different players. And it's just one of those things where you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, you look at how they're built, you look at the quarterback. You mentioned something pretty interesting. Over 25 passes, we start to get a little shaky in the passing game, right? One of the most valuable traits a coach and a coach staff can have is being able to understand and know your personnel.
Know your personnel.
Right? When you got Jalen Hurts, first of all, you paid Jalen Hurts for a reason. Let's make that very clear. Number two, when Jalen Hurts gets into that 35, 40 pass attempt range, that's not what you paid for. That's not the $250 million Jalen Hurts. But when Jalen Hurts is in that sweet spot of 20 to 25, 20 to 27 pass attempts, oh yeah, now I see the $250 million guy. But for some reason, people look at it from the perspective of, hey, you're paying this guy $200+ million. He better pass that ball. Yep. And my thing is, hold on, wait, Jalen can pass the ball. Different games call for different requirements, right? And Jalen Hurts' skill set functions better when he has that running game because of how he plays. Like, so I'm trying to understand people's perspective. And let me address something real quick because Big Chris is I've been trying to ignore Big Chris, but he's trying me here. So let's have some fun with it. Hey, Big Chris, don't disrespect me like that ever again. I don't co-sign idiocracy. I always held it down for my city, my team. Don't act brand new. Don't act brand new at all. I always kept it funky. Anybody that know me, that understand me, that watch my content, no matter where I go, I keep it funky. Now, look, no disrespect to Dan, but I disagree with 99% of the shit he says. All love and kudos to him. I wish him nothing the best. He gave me a shot on his show. I did what I did with it. But other than that, I speak my truth. So come correct. Because at the end of the day, we all looking towards the same thing and we want the same thing. But understand what show you at. Understand what platform you at. Understand the type of person I am. What you see is what you get. So just relax. Because I don't want to say nothing disrespectful about people I like.
Hey, man, just because you produce something and just because you deal with somebody don't mean you got to agree with all their opinions.
Exactly. Bro. What do people don't understand?
They don't.
And let me say this too, right? Let me give you a little bit of a sneak peek into Jacob Sports. Now I'm talking about stuff I don't want to talk about. Let me give you a little sneak peek. One of the core tenets of that show was, hey, we produce it, but we don't orchestrate it, if that makes sense. I push the buttons, I make the music go, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to his opinions and his alone, at Jacob Sports, one thing I will give them respect for. They never tell you what to say and how to say it. That's one thing I will respect Jacob Sports for. They never tell you what to say and how to say it. My job as a producer, hey, push these buttons, make sure technically we're good. Hey, Dan, go cook. Hey, John McMullen, go cook. Hey, Jody, go cook. Hey, Ellis, D Gunn, go cook. My job is to push buttons and make sure the damn thing functioned. But as far as opinions and topics and talking points, you got it all wrong, player. So again, if you're going to be a fan of this content space, understand what producing actually is and understand the different roles in producing. It's as simple as that. Dan is his own man and not my own man. Shout out to him. I hope he's doing very well. Shout out to his family, all that kind of stuff. Shout out to Jacob Sports. Hope they're doing well. Simple as that. I ain't got nothing bad to say about nobody because they gave me my shot. Simple as that. And I took it and I ran with it. But let's move on. I gave him too much airtime. Gave him too much airtime. Sometimes people ask for attention and they get it.
But that's that's part of this social media era where just like people, I think you put something on your Twitter one time and I was like, hold on. I was like, just because somebody didn't have a good career doesn't mean they don't know the game.
No. Yeah. That was, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And I was peeved.
Who was that?
It was Coach McCoy. He peeved me.
McCoy.
He peeved me.
Yeah.
He pissed me off real bad. He caught me at the right time. He caught me at the right time.
Did you hear Chris Carter's response?
Yes. Oh my God. Yo, I'm so glad you brought that up because Chris Carter he has a podcast, right? And I like to call it a B-side podcast. I'm sure you listen to music. You know, people say A-sides and B-sides,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
know, sometimes the B-side records be better than the A-side records.
Right.
The A-side records be the hits. The B-side records be the ones that, fill it in. And his podcast is so, like, in the cut. And I found it for some reason. And I'm watching it. And I'm like, yo, it was such a simple response, but it was so poignant. I can't remember exactly what he said, but again, you brought it up. Please break that down for the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he was another one that just, I guess he just started his media career or whatever, and he has some very disparaging things to say about Jalen Hurts, and it's like, you know who he sounded like? He sounded like, what's your boy, Sims.
You know,
Chris Sims.
You know what he sounded like? He sounded like he got his Eagles hate starter pack.
Yeah, he sounded like remember when Chris Sims started his show with Mike Florio?
Yeah.
Chris Sims was the same way, and then finally, he got the gist of it, and he started being a little bit more even keel about going on. But at the end of the day, you got to remember, in my opinion, a lot of these guys do that because you will get more attention and more response if you do something inflammatory or if you purposefully say something that is wrong. Because nobody will get with you faster than somebody trying to tell you you're wrong and I'm right. So people use that to an advantage. So Chris Carter roasted him.
Bad.
But same situation. I remember doing a video with what's the name? What's the guy from USC that played it butt fumble? Mark
Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez was on Colin Cowherd a couple years ago, but he was talking about how good Jason Kelce was. And he was saying, okay, blah, 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 blah. You got this type of defense. Jason Kelce sees the blitz. He's going to call a different play. He was like, Jason Kelce is off the charts with what he has to read and all of this type of stuff. And he was giving like some really good insight on what it takes for a center to read the defense and stuff like that. But everybody was kind of clowning him because everybody remembered the butt fumble. I was like, just because the dude didn't have a stellar career does not mean he doesn't know the game.
That's true.
You look at Dan Orlovsky. You look at JT O'Sullivan got one of the best.
I love JT O'Sullivan's platform. The QB
one
school.
Of the best and JT O'Sullivan was a career backup. So
a lot of the best quarterbacks give so much credit to their backups because they usually saw things they didn't see.
Exactly. And usually you a backup for a reason. So that usually means that somebody is in front of you that is more physically talented. Mm-hmm. So you develop your brain a little bit more because most of the time you're not playing, you studying. So a lot of times the backup has a much better perspective. Why you think Dan Orlovsky is so good? Because a lot of people didn't like Dan Orlovsky when he first started, but
I actually like Dan when he first started. And
a lot of people didn't like Dan Orlovsky because what do they do?
Really?
Everybody started. They want to bring up when he ran out of the back of the end zone in Detroit.
Hey, listen, CJ Stroud did it a couple weeks ago. So
yeah, so but over time, you just got to keep doing what you're doing and showing people like, hey, I know this game. I know I might not have been able to throw the ball 80 yards down the field, but I know when the blitz is coming, when they pop off to a single man high defense, I understand all of that and can see when it's coming. So a lot of people got to get off of that. Just because somebody didn't have a Hall of Fame or a great career does not mean they don't know the X's and O's.
You're right, and I definitely don't want to continue to perpetuate that. I'm glad you brought that up because that logic applies to what I do. Right, I didn't play the game, but some reason, but I study and I get my opinions, and I never consider myself to be a savant or an elite mind in this game. I just consider myself an enthusiast, and I just try to learn as much as I can from smart people. So I think it is important, at least from my perspective, to tread lightly when criticizing someone's opinion versus criticizing the person.
Fact.
Right.
And yes, Big Chris, I love Mina Kimes.
I love Mina Kimes too. She's very.
Don't get it twisted.
I love Mina Kimes. She's very intelligent, very very rational. It's tough when you're so emotionally invested in a product that and a person, an organization where if someone says something that you know for a fact is wrong or unfair, or you like, and you can't get close to that person, so you just want to just cut their legs from under them and just eviscerate them, right? That's the challenge, I think. I think in sports, at least in sports fandom, criticizing the take, criticizing the idea, and challenging it with a better idea versus, criticizing the man, criticizing the career that they had or lack thereof. So, again, in my position, I want to try my best to tread lightly with that and not use that as a way to disagree with somebody.
Right.
Colt McCoy, again, he had a 10+ year NFL career. He was doing something right. He was
Facts.
doing something right where teams wanted him in the building. He clearly knew his stuff, but just couldn't execute on the field, right? And that's okay for what that is. But also at the same time, it was clear that he got his media starter pack, and that comes with disrespecting Jalen Hurts and trying to undercut him and the Philadelphia Eagles. So yeah, but nonetheless, Eagles Panthers today, and look, you guys, I think we all have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game in pretty convincing fashion. All they got to do is pretty much go out there and do what they've been doing, be dominant the way they've been dominant. This game really didn't require that much analysis, right? That Ravens game, on the other hand, yeah, we got deep into the nitty-gritty with that.
Yes,
but this one, let's get into our keys to the game for offense and defense, our bold predictions and our score predictions before we get out of here. So, Marcus, give me your keys to the game for the Eagles on offense and for their defense. How, if the Eagles win this game, when the Eagles win this game, how would they get it done?
As usual, on the line of scrimmage, defensively, Jalen Carter is going to continue to do what he's been doing, and look for Milt Williams and Nolan Smith to have a game today. Especially, I believe, Carolina's left tackle, Ikwe, what's his name? The kid from NC State, Ikwe Agune, I think that's his name. He's been a turnstile a lot. So I'm looking for whoever's over there. Usually that's Nolan Smith's side. I'm looking for him to get some pressures on Bryce Young. Now, having seen what we did versus Baltimore, there should be no problem playing disciplined football with Bryce Young. Bryce Young can sneak underneath on you because he's not a big guy. So he's got to be wily back there in the pocket. So he's gonna play with a little bit more intelligence and use his athletic ability. And Bryce Young is not trying to run. He does like Kyler Murray. He's trying to get out to find another avenue where he can throw the ball. So let's continue to play discipline, come to depth, use your hands to go in or out to get to the, to get home and get to the quarterback. That should be fine. I'm looking for Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith to eat again. Zach Barnes and Kobe Dean, just keep doing what you've been doing, period. Y'all been playing Pro Bowl level all season. Keep doing it. Secondary, Reed Blankenship's coming out. Who's playing safety? Because Sid Brown is out.
It's a good question. I believe it's Tristan McCollum.
Okay, Tristan McCollum looked okay.
Yeah.
Another guy that dropped an opportunity, how many drop picks we got this year? 5?
Man, tell you about
Something
it. And
like
also, somebody's reminding me, we did pick up that guy Charles Harris on the edge. So we may see him, and he's very familiar with Carolina. He was just there.
Yeah.
So we should be able to see what's going on with that. As you continue to talk, let me see if I can find more details about the injury.
Yeah, I just think secondary, I think we'll be okay without Reed Blankenship. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, keep doing what you've been doing. CJ Gardner-Johnson has been playing very physical the last 4 weeks. He's been a presence back there. Don't get so overzealous that you let somebody behind you. Hopefully Isaiah Rodgers will have a better game today. I don't think Slay is playing. So Isaiah Rodgers played better last week. I want to see him continue to get better because we had high expectations from him. And not for nothing, me personally, I want to see Keely Ringo get more snaps.
Same here, man. Isaiah Rodgers, I want to be careful because I feel like he had a bad matchup in that Rams game. Very bad matchup.
Possibly, but I'll just say it like this. I expected him to be better.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I do expect him to be better.
He was coming off. He was coming off the bench cold.
No, for sure. For sure. And I just felt like in that game in particular, I just felt like Keely Ringo probably would have been better suited physically to match up with a Puka or whatever it may be. Maybe,
Agreed.
But regardless, Vic Fangio, if you're on that field, that means he trusts you more than the other guy. So I don't want to dismiss what he does. He did force a fumble in that game on the first drive.
Right.
He's
Ace Boogie is saying the Slay is back because he practiced all week.
Oh, there we go.
Let's see if he can complete the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that part, right? Let's see if he can complete the game. But yeah, Keely Ringo. I think next year is his year for sure. I think next year is his year. But we'll see. Regardless, though, as far as the update on the injury report, you're right. Slay is not on it, so we should see him today. Once again, Reed Blankenship is out with a concussion. Sidney Brown out with a knee. Britton Covey out with the neck injury. Dallas Goedert out and on IR with a knee. Now, when it comes to the Carolina Panthers, starting right guard Robert Hunt for the Panthers was just added to the injury report. Apparently, he's questionable with the back injury. And if you ask me, back injuries are tricky, especially for offensive linemen. But it should be noted that he was still a full participant in practice.
Now, who are we talking about?
Robert Hunt, starting right guard for the Panthers.
Okay.
And he did fully participate in practice, but he's still listed as questionable.
Clowney's out too.
Clowney didn't participate in practice with a knee, so likely he's out. Cornerback Caleb Farley, shoulder full participation, so he'll probably play. I mentioned Robert Hunt already with the back. Linebacker Josie Jewell, hamstring limited. Outside linebacker DJ Onwano with the knee, full participation. Tight end Jatavion Sanders, neck, full participation. Safety Nick Scott, hamstring, did not participate. So there's a chance we may not see Jadeveon Clowney for the Panthers, and we may not see also wide receiver Jalen Coker with the quad, did not participate in practice, so he likely won't play either. And again, the interior, I look at the offensive line is the most interesting injury to me. Robert Hunt, the back can be so tricky. You may think you feel good. As soon as you make that one move or whatever, you're like, I just can't. So like you said earlier, I look for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Milton Williams to really eat and go crazy in this game.
Yep.
Well, was that it for your keys to the game? I just want to make sure.
I was defense. I didn't even get into the offense.
Okay. Give us your offense.
Offense, same as usual. Feed Saquon. Get him off tackle, not so much under up the middle. Balance that out a little bit. I think they're going to try to. I think. I don't know what they're going to try to do. Are they going to try to run it? Depending on what type of success Saquon has early, will determine how much they throw the ball. Because I know in the back of everybody's mind, they want to see Saquon get 200 yards a day.
Right.
Because what they optimally, and this is just my opinion, what I think they want to do is get Saquon past 2K before the last game of the season. And this is a game where he could possibly have 150 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. But Jalen Hurts, keep doing Jalen Hurts things. Yeah. Hand the ball off. Just let's not make this complicated. All you got to do is just hit A.J. Brown on a quick slant and let him break 2 tackles. That's all you got to do.
See when you say it like that, when you say it like that and make it sound so easy, that's why people criticize Hurts. Yard. That's why people criticize Hurts, because we make it sound so easy. And sometimes it is.
He's the king, and not for nothing. That deep shot they took against Baltimore was 1 step away.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good ball by Jalen.
He had him.
That was a good ball by Jalen. A.J. Brown was 1 step away. So they're going to take their shots like that, but let's keep it in the perspective. Right now, Saquon is the engine. And let's put gas in the engine and get that joker purr. Keep it simple.
Okay.
Smitty's going to get his.
Yes.
Smitty's going to get his because Dallas Goedert is out.
Yep. And also they want to get him back into the mode. So
yeah, I'm interested to see that new that new
fullback. Right? I am too. Yeah. He's a big dude.
Dude. I think they're going to use him as a tight end.
Interesting.
Because he's that big and that fast. Yeah, and I was looking. Did you see anything else? Everybody's showing that one play where he took off on. And I was like, I didn't get that's phenomenal.
I didn't get a chance to really dig too deep into his film or his highlights or whatever. But that one play is circulating.
I get scared when everybody shows me one play.
Yeah. When you first see it, it's like, oh, wow, that guy's pretty impressive. But when that's the only thing circulating, it's like,
I got burnt like that with Albert O. because I saw a couple of highlight plays. I saw a couple of highlight plays when he was down in Denver, and I was like, yo, this dude can jump out the gym. He's big. Why aren't we using him? Must be a reason, because you don't have that type of athletic ability and be on the bench. There's a reason why you're on the bench.
If the Eagles start incorporating the fullback into the passing game, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap, man. Let's get to the bold predictions here. Anything, and this could be one of those games where our bold predictions actually come true. Not saying none of them haven't before, but they always come true in their own way. Do you have any bold predictions for this game?
You know what? I'm gonna say Milt Williams ends up with 2 sacks today.
Not bad.
Milt Williams ends up with 2 sacks.
I think he's done that this year too.
And finally, Quinyon Mitchell gets a pick. If Quinyon Mitchell does not end the season with at least 2 to 3 picks, he's going to lose the Rookie of the Year to Jared Verse.
Yeah.
That's a prediction. Jared Verse, while I think Quinyon Mitchell has played better overall, Jared Verse has the payoff. He's got the sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Quinyon Mitchell has no INTs, and I think that's the biggest thing people are going to look at, because most people that are going to vote are probably not studying the game.
Good point. Very good point. Okay, I like that. What do I have? Okay, I'm really going to.
We say it every week.
I'm really going to dig into the crate with this one. Okay. I think the Eagles' running game is going to be very dominant today, like almost like unnaturally dominant.
I like that.
My bold prediction: Kenny Gainwell gets his first career 100-yard game.
What?
It's bold.
So what does that mean for Saquon?
I think the running game is. I think the Eagles have 300 yards rushing. Or 250, 250.
What's the guy from The Wire where he's like,
oh, that's my man. Yo. I swear, every role, it's in his contract. I got to be able to say this. But 250 rushing yards. 300 was crazy. All right. 250 rushing yards for the team.
Okay.
Saquon gets his 125. Kenny Gainwell gets 100.
Saquon had 200.
And Will Shipley gets his 25 rushing yards. I'm rolling with that. I'm rolling. So yeah, my bold prediction is Eagles have 250 rushing yards. Saquon gets over 125. Kenny gets over 100. And Shipley gets his 25.
Where is Saquon? Where is Saquon for
his stats on the season?
Yeah, for rushing.
Right now he has 1499 on the season.
Okay.
So basically 1500.
Right. So that'll put him at 7. Best case scenario, if he gets 200 plus, that puts him at. So that's if he gets close to 1700, that means he's got 4 games
to get 400 yards, right? Or 300 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like hey, I'm just saying that offensive line is that good.
What's Shady? I've seen this in the chat. What is Shady's record? Because everybody's saying that he's gonna break Shady's record today.
Oh yeah, for the season. Yeah. Let me see. LaShawn McCoy, Eagles rushing record. Let me see. Says here, it says, make no mistake, that old school move was made for Saquon Barkley, who is 109. Okay, so Saquon Barkley is 109 yards away from breaking Eagles' single season rushing record of 1607 set by LaShawn McCoy. Oh yeah, he's breaking that easily.
Okay,
he's gonna break that by a mile. So yeah, 1607 is the record. Saquon is 109 away from breaking that record. 109 away. But yeah, Kenny Gainwell, man. Kenny G, baby boy. I'm rolling with him. Kenny G for over $100. Give me my hundo. All right, let's get to our score prediction. Marcus, what's your score prediction for this game, man? Is it going to be a bloodbath? Is it going to be a murder? Is it just going to be an ass whooping? Like, is it like just let me know.
I'm gonna go 34-10.
Whoa.
34-10.
34-10. That's actually not bad. 34-10. But if you take your foot off the gas, you sit guys in that fourth quarter, maybe it becomes 34-17 or something.
You know what's so funny? I see Eagle Stewart. What's going on, man? I appreciate you. 34-10 is only like 4-1. We add the scores up and all of that kind of stuff, but realistically, think of it like soccer scores.
Okay.
You're winning 3-1. You're winning 3.5 to 1.5 or something like that.
Okay, the ratio. Got you.
I give the half a point as a field goal or something like that.
Got it. Okay.
But all you got these, you losing 34-7. You lost 4-1 or you lost 5-1. They scored 5 times, you only score once, or vice versa.
Okay. I got the Eagles winning this game. I'm going to say 37-13. 37-13.
Nice.
I think they beat them about 24 points in my math. That is what it is, right? 24-point differential. Yeah. 37-13. That's my score prediction, for this team. So that's how I'm rolling. Also, real quick before we get out of here, I want to get to these last 2 super chats. I missed them. It was written. He says, wins over style points. Thank you. It was written. We really appreciate the super chat, big dog. Thank you, man. We appreciate this. And Dado Shipley, he says, I'm from Louisville. He says, I respect you guys and what you do because y'all speak facts, man. I don't get other platforms and how they hit on the Eagles. I feel, listen, Donnell, I feel you, man. I feel you. It's sometimes people got their way of moving the needle and pushing the button. Everybody do it. Listen, everybody cooking different, man. Everybody cooking different. The good thing about it is, though, you got your choice of restaurants. You got your choice of delicacies. What is it? Delicacies? Yeah. You got your choice of delicacies. So,
hey, listen, man. The greatest invention ever created is the on-off switch.
Simple as that. Simple as that, man. Thank you, Donnell. We appreciate you. It was written. Eagles win. Thank you. And Donnell Shipley, thank you again for your other super chat as well. It means a lot to us. On that note, y'all, we're done here. We appreciate y'all for locking in for over an hour, man. We had over 250 people in this live stream, man. It's been really, really dope. We appreciate y'all so much for locking in. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports. Any final words, Marcus, before we cut the cord?
Eagles, handle your business. This is a team that you're supposed to beat them. You're supposed to beat them handily, Don't make it complicated.
And it's straight like that. Hey, Marcus, spin that shit.
Hold up. Before you spin it.
Whoa. My bad. My hand off the trigger. My bad.
Let us not forget. Eric Allen belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Simple as that. Eric Allen, we making that push. Eagles
belongs
legend.
In the Hall of Fame. Yes, sir.
Eric Allen, Hall of Fame. On that note, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for locking in. You guys have been tuned into your Philadelphia Eagles pregame show from my man, Coach Markus, via Pro Fan Talk, and yours truly, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge to the game. Take care, y'all, and this Fly Eagles fly.
Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Coach Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. 9 guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Coach Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Coach Markus always standing by. Bringing the heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.